What up, beautiful people? DH here, driving. I'm not driving on the main roads, just little side streets. See, little, I guess you could say in the forest, dropping the kids off at school. But I wanted to share on here when we are our ultimate expression, when we are our ultimate truth, we are at full vulnerability, full transparency in our emotional space, our physical space, our spiritual space, our mental space. And for some, what I'm noticing and experiencing is that the physical space, as we're the most comfortable with the physical space when it comes to, we can touch our body, we can feel our body, we can see our body, we can work out, you know, like our body can send us sensations if something is out of alignment. We can connect with our physical body in that capacity. And our mental capacity, almost so much, ciao, almost the same. You know, we can build mental strength. We've heard about that. The spiritual strength and the spiritual space is different for many. But that's one that we have to practice as well. And I'm not really going to tap onto that today because that's a deep one. That's the most fun and expansive and multidimensional one. But what I'm noticing is as we talk about intimacy and we talk about true vulnerability and intimacy, that's where we see uncomfortability. I think generationally, thousands of years, it could be the patriarchal energies that have been going on. It could be that why men are stuck in their lower two chakras, that for the most part all they're thinking about in intimacy is the sex. And there's so much more, there's so much beyond that we never reach because we only see sex as a singular event, like a one isolated experience. And that needs to shift energetically to really shift the energy and frequency of the planet. I think it's one of the most simplest of forms. So what we can do is we can essentially go right into that uncomfortability. And what makes us uncomfortable in intimacy physically? Is it sitting naked with our partner? Is it eye gazing? Is it sitting in silence and looking at each other? Is it breathing together? Is it holding each other? Is it going beyond like what we're accustomed to doing? You know, especially when you get into the world of like having children and jobs and the domestication process of like every day looks pretty much the same. So what does sex look like? It could be like we had a glass of wine at dinner and maybe we watch some Netflix, or maybe we just go in and maybe we're feeling a little snuggly, and then next thing you know, we've had sex, and then 15 minutes later, you know, the man's probably passed out. And, you know, listen, most of us have been there. I've been there. It's just, we have to shift that frequency. And until we shift that frequency, nothing will ever change. And so my point is that that's numbing. That's easy. That's sleepwalking. And I think it's important for us to get uncomfortable. And so in my space, I'm studying some Tantra and understanding the breathing side of it and understanding the flow of energy and opening up the channels and connecting on the heart level and opening up that full fluidity of your system and what it feels like. And so getting uncomfortable, intentionally setting time aside to connect with your partner on a more intimate level. And maybe it's not even having sex. Maybe it's just looking at each other and breathing and sending gratitude and love and experiencing closeness. And that's true intimacy. And so that's where some of the things need to shift for us. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're not able to be vulnerable physically, or if even talking about being vulnerable physically brings something up for you, that's kind of where you need to go. You need to go into it, and you need to uncover the resistance in that, because as we uncover resistance, we increase flow. And when we increase flow, we live in alignment. And when we live in alignment, we achieve our ultimate soul's path, and which is our purpose here. So love y'all. Hope that helps. Get after it today. Win the day. And don't record yourself when you're driving.